I'm in Adobe After Effects, and I'm going to show you how to create 3D environments and use 3D layers. First, we need to create a new composition. Set up your composition as you want, but before you click OK, go to the 3D Renderer tab. Next, you want to click this drop-down menu and ensure that you are on the correct 3D renderer. I would use Advanced 3D or Cinema 4D. After that, click OK, and we've created our composition. Now that we have it, we need some elements to play with. I'll right-click in my composition to create a new solid, and we'll just make it gray so it stands out from the background here. For now, this is just a simple 2D layer that moves and behaves in the second dimension. I'm going to enable it to be 3D. To do that, first enable switches if they are disabled. Right-click on this tiny bar here, then go to columns and make sure that switches is turned on. This will make these three switches appear: motion blur, adjustment layer, and 3D layer. We're obviously going to click 3D layer. Now, when we open up the controls for the shape, we'll have 3D positioning and rotation controls, as well as material and geometry options. If we adjust these controls, you can see how After Effects is simulating a three-dimensional space. Before we go any farther, there are two settings we need to change. On the composition preview, in the bottom left, click this drop-down menu and select quarter resolution. Working in 3D can be very taxing on After Effects and your computer. So, by setting your window to preview things in 1/4 resolution, it will have everything move much faster. Also, in the bottom right of the preview, you'll see this drop-down menu. You'll want to change this from 1 view to 2 view or 4 view. This basically lets you see what's going on in 3D space from multiple directions. It's incredibly useful. I like to stick to using one window as the active camera and one window as a top-down view. You can change to different views in this drop-down menu as well. Now, I want to go ahead and make a 3D looking environment. So I'm going to position this wall, and then duplicate it twice with Command D or Control D on Windows to create more walls. Then I'm just going to position these in a formation to make it look like a room. You can see me using the screens to control the position and rotation of the walls rather than the actual position control. You can use either, but for simple positioning, I find the visual render easier to work with. You can see on the right, these red lines are my layers, and they're not quite lined up perfectly, so I'm just going to adjust them real quickly. Okay, we have a decent looking room now. Now I'll show you how to add 3D lights in After Effects. Right-click in your composition, then click New, then Light. This menu will appear. There are a few different kinds of lights, but for now we can just make a cone light with these settings. Right now, everything is lit up perfect and smoothly, but as soon as I create a light, only the parts of the shape hit by light will display their full colors. Like all 3D elements in After Effects, I can control the position of the light easily on the top view monitor. Also on this monitor, you can control the point of interest of the light, basically where it's pointing. It's important to know, you can keyframe this to have your light move around your 3D layer over time. Just to show you, I'll go ahead and create another cone light, but this time it'll be red. So create a new light and change the color, and we will get this red light. You can see how two lights blend together on areas that overlap, which lets you make some really interesting and realistic looking things. I'll also show you ambient lights. These affect the entire composition and don't care about positioning or points of interest. I recommend keeping the intensity of ambient lights below 50%. Anyways, I'll delete that because I like the darkness and we can move on. Now, I'll show you how to use 3D text in After Effects. Right-click in your composition to create a new text layer, then write your text down. Once you're happy with it, you can enable it to be a 3D layer with the switch. Because of the positioning of the lights, the color on the text doesn't come through at all. But you can see when I position the text so the light shines on it, you can actually see the colors blend. Now, if I open up my geometry options, you can see a few controls, the most important one being extrusion depth. With this, you can make your text actually 3D instead of a 2D layer in a 3D environment. As I increase this, the shape stretches down into darkness. You can also edit the text, animate it, and keyframe it as you normally would while it's 3D. So you can really have some pretty wild looking effects on your text. You can also do the same 3D extrusion depth with shape layers, so I'll go ahead and create a new shape layer. Then I'll just make a star, make it 3D, and give it some depth. In my opinion, the coolest thing you can do in After Effects is make a 3D camera. Right-click in the composition to create a new camera. These settings are fine, so I'll just click OK. You can see on my top-down view that there's now a pink camera that I can control the position of. I can also control its point of interest. If I keyframe these, we can get dynamic shots in our 3D environment. I'll just make it do a simple pan for demonstration, but you can do much crazier things. Finally, I'll go on to show you the most diverse 3D element in After Effects. If you have 2024 After Effects and beyond, you can actually import 3D models into After Effects. Your 3D renderer does have to be set to Advanced 3D though. The supported 3D files are GLB, GLTF, OBJ, or FBX files. If you have other types of 3D files, convert them over first. I went ahead and found this 3D helicopter model, and I'm just going to import it into my composition. When you bring the file from your project to the composition, you will get to adjust the model settings. These are fine, so I'll click OK. Now, rotating, scaling, and positioning the 3D model can be tricky sometimes, so I'll just play with it for a bit. And yeah, as you see, you can get the 3D models into After Effects. You can't paint them in After Effects though, but if you open up Adobe 3D Substance Painter or other texturing software, you can paint your model before you bring it into After Effects. You can still light the model though, and use it in your final renders. I think it will look cool, so I'm going to create some lights, then program my camera to fly around the helicopter model. While I'm doing that, make sure you subscribe. Only a measly 8.8% of you are subscribed, so it'll mean a ton to me if you would click that subscribe button. Now, back to it. I'll just go ahead and play my little flight path I made. And you can see that the possibilities really are endless when you open up 3D layers in After Effects, especially when combining them with the thousands of other techniques you can do in the program. That's it. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Appreciate it.